If you're thinking about getting solar, this is one of the most important things you need to understand so that you know what to expect and what you need to get for it to make financial sense. Hi, I'm Tom with Premier Roof Solar. I've been helping homeowners save money on their power bills for the last 5 years with renewable energy. My goal is to educate and empower homeowners like you so that you can make the best decision for your unique situation. And today we're talking about NEM, or net energy metering. That's what NEM stands for. Let's start with the utility or power companies. Every state, county, city, region is going to have different local utilities. The utilities that cooperate with the solar industry in some way, shape, or form will have a net energy metering agreement, or NEM agreement. Basically, it means that you'll get some sort of compensation for the net energy that you send back to their grid. What do they mean by net energy? This is the energy or electricity that you send to their grid beyond what you actually consume from the solar system itself to your home. Net energy is the energy or electricity, in other words, the kilowatt hours that you produce but didn't use. With solar, as the name suggests, you only produce when the sun is out. While you're producing during the day, you're using some of that electricity for things like your lights, refrigerator, microwave, routers, computers, phone chargers, anything that's plugged in and using power in your home. Depending on how much electricity you're using during the day, how many panels you have, what time of year it is, amongst other things, you may have some energy that you produced but didn't use during those daytime hours. That's the net energy that you're sending to the grid. In California, most NEM agreements used to stipulate that you would get a 1-for-1 credit for that energy that you sent to the grid, or a retail value for the electricity that you're sending to them. In other words, the value of the energy that you sent to them or sold to them was the same price that they would be charging you if you use energy from the grid. That way, when you use power at night, when you're no longer producing, your overproduction from during the day would cover that usage. Depending on the power company that you have, you could have a rolling annual bill, aka an annual true-up bill. With this type of billing, you don't pay for the usage on a month-to-month basis if you go over what you actually produce for that particular month. Even if you consumed all of the credits you had built up before then, you'd only get billed by any overage left over at the end of that annual cycle. By that same token, if you have any leftover credits when that annual true-up cycle ended, you get paid for those credits. But at that point, instead of getting the full retail price for any credits that you sold to them, they'd be giving you or paying you the wholesale price, which is about 25% of the retail price. Some utilities even allow you to continue to roll the credits over past 1 year and let you do 2 or even 3 years of rollover credits. If there is no annual true-up bill at all, then you're billed according to your normal bill cycle, like on a monthly or bi-monthly basis. This means that if you go over your production and the credits that you had built up in any particular month and you have some usage, then you get billed in that bill cycle for the difference. But if your system is sized correctly, after the first 1 or 2 bill cycles from the system being turned on, you really shouldn't be getting any usage charges. You would start building up credits, and eventually there will be months where you're not producing enough, but you'll have built up credits that cover that, and you just kind of go from there. Usually with this type of bill system, you don't get paid at any point in time for any unused credits, but they also never expire, meaning that they roll over forever. In other words, you would eventually use up those credits unless you grossly oversize the system. And the only way that you'd lose those types of credits is if you change the name on the bill or you move, and if you have any unused credits left over when you change the account, then you would lose them at that point. Just remember that if you size your system correctly to cover your usage for a 12-month cycle and maybe a little bit extra in case you have some extra consumption some years, then there's going to be some months where you're overproducing and some months where you're underproducing. But when you look at any 12-month period, you should be pretty close to break even. Annual consumption doesn't change that much from 1 year to the next unless you're making a major change like adding an EV, a swimming pool, a jacuzzi, or something else that's a major energy consumer. Then with the 1-for-1 credits, you'll eliminate all your usage charges from the utility and only pay the minimum charges or the non-bypassable charges. If you're with any one of the utilities that are part of the CPUC or California Public Utility Commission, then all of this changed this past April. I cover what those changes are and who's affected in this video.